The Philippines remains dead last at Bloomberg's COVID-19 resilience ranking despite an easing of case number. The country scored 40.5, placing last in a list of 53 countries for the second straight month. This is due to a delay in vaccinations, as only 26% of the population has been inoculated so far. Other Southeast Asian nations like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam are also at the bottom of the list. Meanwhile, European nations continue to dominate the rankings, with Ireland and Spain occupying the top two spots. Let's talk more about that with National Task Force spokesperson, retired General Restituto Padilla, who joins us now over the phone. Good evening, sir. Sir, first off, what was your initial reaction to our new ranking, which is, of course, still dead last over at Bloomberg?
Hi, Sean. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation. Well, most of these assessments are not very objective at all, and they fail to consider the size of the population and the vaccination rate that we have been doing. If you will compare our population to Ireland, or even to Israel, which is only 8 million, over 8 million population, and having been praised as having been ahead of vaccination, and the number of population we have, the rate at which we're going also is something that should be applauded, because we have been increasing our vaccination at a very fast clip compared to the others whose populations are not that big. So if we were Israel, then we could have been fully vaccinated already. Take the case of Malaysia, which has 32.52 million in the 2019 statistics. We could have achieved that because the inoculation rate in our country now has reached over 50 million, with about 30 million almost fully vaccinated.
Right, very good point, sir. But one could also say that Indonesia, with a bigger population and more islands than our 7,100 islands, still rank better than us. Albeit, of course, they still are pretty much low on the list. What can we learn from such, such studies or cases like Indonesia?
Well, the cases Bloomberg's assessment has been based on a certain period in October, when the cases were still high in the Philippines. But at the rate things are going on now, cases going down, vaccination rate going up, I guess we shouldn't be at the bottom of the list. I guess what they are alluding to is the restriction in mobility and the ease of business. But these are all changing now as we see the cases, because we have to manage the cases in view of our delicate healthcare system. If we don't watch out, we might get overwhelmed and there might be more problems.
Right, understood, sir. Having said all of that, of course, we have definitely taken note of the eased restrictions here in the Philippines. What is the government's game plan moving forward? Are we taking notes and, studying other cases of response in other countries, especially those at the top spots, despite them having, of course, smaller populations?
Sean, we are not bereft of any talent. We have been closely watching the global community's response to COVID. We have been learning from the best practices all over the world, and our experts are taking note. And whatever recommendations were made for the response of the country are all based on these observations and the experts' recommendations. So whatever step that we're taking, I can assure you, are all thought of properly.
All right, thank you for your time and insights as usual. NTF spokesperson Restituto Padilla over the phone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sean, and good evening, and keep safe, everyone.
Thank you.